There we go. All right, so for my lady with a shapewear up top and pants on the bottom, I'm just going to go ahead and do her skin tone, get that out of the way, underneath the chin, pit of the neck, a little bit under that collar, a little bit at the hands if you've got them, and and then a little bit of shadow because there's a little bit of skin showing between the leg and between the top and the bottom. Now that's all my skin tone. So that part of the assembly line is done. Now all I got to do is decide what I'm going to do for the bikini. I think that I'm going to give her a pinkish bikini. Not going to do anything fancy, not going to give her a fancy design or anything like that. So I'm just going to color that in, give it one layer, one layer on top, one layer on the bottom. And then I'm just going to let that dry for a second. I'm going to give her another little layer, show some darkness over here, not showing up too much with that pink. And there's not a lot going on here, so I'm not going to worry about too much there. We'll worry about layering more with the top on the other side. So on the top on the other side, I'm also going to make that pink. So I'm just going to fill in, because that's a whole shirt with the long sleeve shirt. Just going to fill her in. And even with the pigment liner, I've got this thing kind of smearing. So just be careful. There's nothing more irritating than to be working on a sketch and have something get smeared. All right. So I'm just going to leave that for a second, let it dry. Now next time I'm going to demonstrate denim and black and white fabric. But today I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make her pants green. So they're going to be a light green here. Hopefully this is okay. So we're going for pink and green. Professor Bonner would like that. Her sorority colors are pink and green. Going to put that one layer here. Filling in. And I've got this light green color. And in honor of Miss Sandoval, I'm just going to give her green hair on this one. Or maybe on both of them. Why not? So I'm going to go up here while it's drying, and I'm going to give her some green hair. We are going to demonstrate hair. So if you're drawing individual lines from hair, let me say right now that is something that I'm going to cure you of, unless it's an actual style that you've developed. So I'm giving her green hair over here too. And because we're not learning to draw hair right now, that one color is just going to be fine. So now I'm going to add some dark and light values to this. That pink should be dry up here. Okay? Now my markers here don't have a brush. So I'm going to use my chisel tip, and I'm going to emphasize, because now it's dry and it will actually show some darker value. I'm going to show some shadow under the breasts, okay? And I'm going to show some shadow at the side of this shirt on one side. I'm going to do the same thing with the arms. Remember, anything that you learn with skin tone, you're just going to translate it here, so you could come in for the joints and maybe add a little bit. So as long as I can see that you've added a little bit of darker value, that's good, okay? If your markers are not doing the trick, you can go in with your colored pencils. Now, I'm going to pause for a second because I'm going to actually leave this on here. I'm going to give you my colored pencil lecture very quickly. A lot of people, and I thought it was just me, scolding everybody, but I was in collections, and some people would be drawing in all their clothes. I don't know, I like to think of this as a little house, because there's a way that you use colored pencils in your rodeo art contest in high school, and then there's the way we use them in fashion sketching. So we've got that little house, and we've got that bright yellow little sun, and what people do in kindergarten and in rodeo art is that they can color the whole thing in with their colored pencils and pretend it's a crayon and give it the whole thing here, and then they stop and they say, look, Mom, I made a pretty happy little house, and then I'm going to fill in with my happy little sun. That is not how we use pencils in fashion sketching. There's going to be a lot of opportunities to use your pencils, but colored pencils are there for emphasis and detail. But if I see you filling in a whole thing like a happy little house and a happy little sun, you're going to get an unhappy little grade. Let's just say. And if you go and do this in collections, and I didn't know this but I'd taken collections, and I used to just harp on people about this and think, oh, it's just me. It's not just me. They don't want your happy little house or your happy little sun either. Okay? No coloring in big old patches and then just leaving them there. If you don't have a marker the right color, you're going to have to blend it in with your colorless blender or with another marker. If you can't get this to have a dark enough shade, you can add a little bit of darker colored pencil, although I have to say that I was fine with that pink shadow that we have. I'm just showing you that this is how you would use those colored pencils as emphasis. Well, let's just say that on my second layer of darkness, and it's just the cylinder, but this time we're making sure, because everything's going to, we're pretending that we're going from the front. Well, I've got this light green one, and I have to say that for my intents and purposes, not intensive purposes, intents and purposes, you are going to add more value at the edges, just like we do with the cylinder. You're going to add more dark value in all those places where you've added a little bit more drape, okay? That's going to be darker. It's always going to be darker on the sides because we're assuming that's going to be the farthest away from the light, but you're also going to put some darker value where you see these pants being pushed up in those places where the fabric's being pushed up, and you're also going to put darker value at that trouser break. For me, I think that this marker is doing the trick. I'm okay with it. This level of value is fine by me. If you find, however, that you're not getting enough of a dark value and you need to lean in to a colored pencil, then a darker green at the side, very lightly, will add some more dark value. And if it's very light like this, and it's just on the side adding value, and you're going to want to put extra value, the pockets and the crotch and all that kind of stuff, then that's fine. But if your marker's doing the trick, which it should, you shouldn't have to resort to this. But this is where you can resort to your colored pencils without and using them properly. Okay?
We only got the colored pencils, you want us to do
Do you not, can you not buy a set of markers, son?
No, I just didn't bring them. Like, I didn't bring my skits on. My skits.
All right, well, you can come up and you can use my set of markers right up there, okay? For today. Don't do anything weird with them. Can't imagine what that would be, but, you know, gotta say it. So, here's my figure with some green pants. Next time, I'm gonna teach you how to draw denim. Black and gray denim and blue denim, all right? Gonna stop this recording. I'm gonna upload it